Night Court was one of the best sitcoms of its time. It was a long-running sitcom due to its tremendous success, as it managed to run for 9 seasons and 193 episodes. Nevertheless, all good things must come to an end. But what was it that caused Night Court to finally end its run? Join Facts First to look back at the scene that took Night Court off the air for good. Night Court was the brainchild of Reinhold Weege, who had experience creating sitcoms before, most notably Barney Miller. Barney Miller was a show that showed the comedic side of police procedural, and its formula made the show a huge hit, and it was clear audiences wanted to see that kind of show. Reinhold Weege had tremendous success with Barney Miller, and he knew he had to follow up with this formula for another show. His next step was to leave the police station and enter the courtroom. Night Court premiered January 4th, 1984. It was set in the Manhattan Municipal Court. The court was presided over by Judge Harry Stone, played by Harry Anderson, who won the role off of his fame from Saturday Night Live. The show had a great ensemble cast and soon became a part of our families as Americans tuned in each night to see what was happening in the courtroom. Some of the cast members included John Larroquette as Dan Fielding, the prosecutor, Paula Kelly as Liz Williams, and Ellen Foley as Billy Young, who were public defenders in the first and second seasons, respectively. Markie Post played Christine Sullivan, public defender, from the third season to the final season. The bailiffs were played by Richard Mole as Bull Shannon, Selma Diamond as Selma Hacker, Florence Hallop as Florence Kleiner, and Marsha Warfield as Roz Russell. The court clerks were played by Karen Austin as Lana Wagner in the first season, and Charles Robinson as Mac Robinson in the remaining seasons. Night Court was almost an instant success. The show made stars of the cast members, especially Harry Anderson, John Larroquette, and Richard Mole. With each season, it got better and better and became a defining show of the 1980s. It had wit, a mix of family-friendly and risque humor, and a uniquely American take on the world. Before we tell you more, be sure to give this video a like and subscribe to Facts First if you haven't already. This video is brought to you by Established Titles. Have you ever been interested in being a lord or a lady? With Established Titles, now you can become one. For real. You could officially change your name to Lord or Lady and get it on your credit card, plane tickets, etc. You can even get it on your dating profiles. You can purchase title packs that give you at least 1 square foot of dedicated land on a private estate in Eddleston, Scotland. With the purchase, you'll receive an official certificate with a crest. Your certificate features a unique plot number with which you can see the exact location of your land. Established Titles told me that the first 200 people purchasing a title pack using my link will effectively be next to my plot within a few minutes of walking. Depending on how many of you want to become a lord or a lady, we can build our little Facts First kingdom. They plant a tree with every order and work with global charities, One Tree Planted and Trees for the Future, to support global reforestation efforts. It makes an amazing last-minute gift. Established Titles is actually running an early Black Friday sale, plus if you use the code FV10, you get an additional 10% off. Go to establishedtitles.com/FV10 to get your gifts now and help support the channel. Order in the court. Let's look at how the show's creators and writers were able to come up with the concept of the show. While we all have an idea of how a courtroom works, most of us don't know about the daily lives of judges as well as behind the scenes of each case. Reinhold Weege met with actual New York City judges and learned about their personal lives as well as their cases. The writers would also read about the inner workings of real-life night courts and the judges who oversaw these courts. This gave inspiration to the writers to churn out scripts. And while it became difficult during the final season, they managed to create fascinating stories over close to 200 episodes, and they're still worth watching today. Another great aspect of the show was how the cast members took control of their roles and influenced their characters. For example, Harry Anderson had a lot of experience playing comedic roles. That helped him craft the character of Harry Jones, a judge who was trying to be serious, but also had to find a way to be taken seriously. John Larroquette really worked wonders to craft Dan Fielding. The character was originally bland and conservative, but Larroquette always liked taking on challenging roles and adding his own personality to his characters. John made Dan Fielding into an arrogant character. He made him into a womanizer. In other words, he helped shape Dan Fielding into one of the most memorable characters from the show. The various ladies who played public defenders did the same. While we didn't see Paula Kelly after the first season, one can't forget her memorable role in the show. She had a reputation for playing vivacious characters, especially Leggy Peggy in Uptown Saturday Night. Markie Post became a huge star with her role as Christine Sullivan. She played a bold character, but also one who showed her softer side. Particularly in the 7th season, when she had an on-screen romance with the Detective Tony character. Richard Mall also became a huge star with his role as the bailiff Bull Shannon. While he had developed a reputation for playing tough guy characters, with Night Court his character was intimidating but lovable. There were also several notable guest stars on Night Court, including Michael Richards, John Astin, Lou Ferrigno, James Cromwell, and Fran Drescher. It also included Michael J. Fox and Pam Grier. Pam Grier's cameo appearance in the show was arguably one of the best episodes of the series. She appeared in a two-parter called Hurricane. In this episode, a group of women are stuck in the courthouse and one has to unexpectedly give birth. Pam Grier was one of the women. In the previous decade, Pam had made her name as one of the foremost bad girls of cinema. She was the face of blaxploitation cinema, and there were few female characters like Coffee or Foxy Brown. As you can see, Night Court was the talk of the town. It won awards and secured nomination after nomination. The show eventually had a resurgence on retro TV channels and streaming platforms, and there's even a reboot coming of the show. It was so popular that even the show 30 Rock in 2008 reunited some of the cast members to create their own episode of Night Court within a 30 Rock episode. But alas, all good things have to come to an end. The scene that took Night Court off the air for good. Around the 9th season, the writers were having difficulty writing scripts and coming up with better stories. The characters all had interesting stories, especially the love triangle among Harry, Christine, and Dan. One would hope that a series finale would resolve all these issues in one go. But the show's ratings had dropped, and we didn't get the series finale we would have wanted. The scene that took Night Court off the air for good was the very last scene of the episode The 1992 Boat Show. After filming ended, the cast members were all sent a telegram and told that the show was over and that they had the weekend to clear out their dressing rooms. Naturally, many of them were disappointed, though it seems John Larroquette took it in stride and was ready to move on. After all, he had already won 4 Emmys for this role. The show ended in a manner that we wouldn't have liked, but we remember it as one of the best sitcoms in history. Night Court ran for 8 years and probably could have gone a lot longer, but we'll take joy in the fact that we have 193 episodes to watch again and again. Now it's time to hear from you. Did you grow up watching Night Court? Do you think it should have gotten a better ending? Let us know in the comments section below.